wonder what they did in life to deserve such a resting place.
The creature looks down from its perch, trembling. It crawled out of that sarcophagus as if it had forgotten how to move its limbs. It turns to you, and you see its face is covered by an intricate mask. From behind its unmoving lips, you hear a noise. It starts as a groaning, croaking chatter, but slowly becomes more distinct. It's speaking.
Mais Saravel te de larentu, Chamory?
The stream of noise cuts off abruptly. After a moment, you hear a jolting, lurching voice.
It wears the face of Zorstisser, but speaks the tongue of beasts. How cruel. I suspected the Seven Lords won the war after they locked me here, but seeing their faces on dumb creatures, a depressing confirmation. Gods? What is this senseless braying? The Seven Lords were Eternals, just as I am.
Deep within your soul, you feel your god stirring at the sound of the voice. You can feel its anger and fear swelling inside you. The creature leans forward to get a better look at you, clucking and tutting under her breath.
It seems to be a simple form at its core, a source vat. A walking, unfortunately talking, source vat. Fascinating. I wonder how to extract the source from the vessel without...
She pulls back suddenly, recoiling in horror.
It is rotting. Almost imperceptibly, but it decays before my eyes. It must have no more than a century or two left.
The god within you reacts. Her emotions a cocktail of fury and fear. You hear her voice, demanding that you give her control, demanding your body obey her will.
An Eternal does not answer questions from whatever creatures happen to lumber into view. Especially when there is so much to be learned about their source. What happens to it, I wonder? Does it lie in whatever ditch it falls in, as its body decays? Or... Ah, no, of course. It is harvested.
The god thrashes against your control. You can feel it hissing that this creature is dangerous, that it cannot be trusted.
To have had the technology of the Eternals, and made this. How crude. Although effective in its own way. Poor creature, created for a sole purpose, and yet so ignorant of its function. It is a tool to collect source until it is ready to be collected. Most likely by its creator. And given that face, I can well imagine who your creator may be. What a lazy way to feed one's power, and one's ego.
You start to speak, but it's too late. Zorstisser breaks free, and the voice that emerges from your mouth is not quite your own.
Aetera you were. An eternity locked away was too good for you. I should have seen you ground to dust and fed to the wind. Your heresies deserve nothing less.
The figure recoils, as if struck.
Zorstisser? What happened to you? Did you truly fall so far?
Silence. It is your king that has fallen. He and all the other eternal cowards were flung into the void. And the power you were too scared to hunt has made me a god.
And yet here you stand, small, weak, decaying. I will not even need the Aeteran to grind you into the dust.
You feel your guard freeze at the mention of this Aeteran, a cold terror settling in your chest.
The beast's unruly passenger did not deign to tell it. She did not want her host to know I crafted a weapon that would leave her an eternal once more.
You feel your guard thrashing against your control. Where? You croak in a voice not quite your own.
Ha! Of course you never found it. You always lacked imagination, my lady. I hid it in these very caves, although I can feel its distance now. Someone has uncovered it. Perhaps they intend to flay the godliness from you. No matter. Given your pathetic state, it is mine to collect at my leisure. As for you, you monstrosity, you were designed to be defective. You were built to die. And I rather think it is time you fulfilled your function. But do not fear. I shall put your source to good use.
The air suddenly feels thick, like it's grown musty after concealing a lie for so long.
Pick at one lie before you know it, you'll find 6 more. I expect to have some questions for the gods if they ever emerge from whatever hole they've ducked into.
Sun shines, gods lie. Where there's power, there's corruption. Had anyone here truly expected anything else?
So, the gods are liars. I can't say I'm surprised.